Hello and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for today. Today we review AC/DC's first album, 1975's High Voltage, released only in Australia at the time. They eventually released it internationally in the US in, I think, the 2010s. It's pretty good for a debut. Later in 1976, they did release an international album that was also called High Voltage, but it mostly did not have tracks from this one. There were a couple that were carried over, but it had other tracks on it. Anyway, this is the track listing for the Australian one, and these are the tracks added to my playlist. 6 out of 8, so most of them here. I grabbed 3 tracks off of each side. The front side is probably a little bit better, but honestly, quality is pretty consistent across the whole album. The opening track, Baby Please Don't Go, is a good opener. It's a cover of a traditional blues song, and it sounds a lot like Led Zeppelin, which makes a lot of sense, given they were also into that style. It colors the album a bit, which kind of screws with AC/DC's sound, making them sound sort of pretty traditional rock, when from what I've heard of their later work, they're a little bit more varied than that. Most of the songs here are defined by their long guitar solo sections, which are pretty good, but they contrast with the meh lyrics across the album. The style does kind of converge. There isn't really any variety between tracks, unfortunately, so the flow is just kind of a straight line, which isn't great, but also isn't terrible. Overall, it's still pretty good, definitely listenable, a solid debut that doesn't knock anyone out of the park, but does definitely get the band sort of noticed a bit. There were no singles released before the album, and none of these songs made any sort of splash outside of Australia, or even that much in Australia, I think. My favorite track here is probably Stick Around. It's got some great guitar, and the lyrics are probably the least egregious out of all the songs, in my opinion. Soul Stripper was also pretty good musically, although the lyrics were not so great. So Stick Around is better, I think. As the first AC/DC album I've listened to so far, it takes the only spot in the rankings, first, last, and middle. However, it does not take my top spot from 1975 that stays with Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here, which is definitely a step above High Voltage. They would have really had to knock it out of the park to beat what is essentially Pink Floyd at pretty much the apex of their career. I am definitely interested to see where they go, because they definitely have some big hits on their next couple of albums, so curious to see what AC/DC has in store. Thank you for watching. Next up will be AC/DC's next album, T.N.T., also only released in Australia, although I don't know. A lot of these tracks ended up on the international version of High Voltage, so they kind of combined their first 2 albums into that one. I don't think I'm going to review that international version, as it doesn't have any new songs on it, but I will definitely listen to and review this one. So stay tuned for that, and as always, stay minty.